Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to move on to our next panel discussion of the day based on new products, hyper-personalization and CX 2.0. For the same, I would like to invite our moderator on stage, please. Dr. Suresh A Shan, former head Digital Innovation, Mahindra Finance. Welcome, sir. I would now like to invite our panelist on stage, please. Mr. Vipul Nirwani, Head of Digital Products, Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Mr. Abhishek Kothari, CEO, Pepper Money India. Mr. Pradeep Singh, Head Risk Compliance and Business Strategy, Netafim Agricultural Financing Agency. Mr. Vasanth Jeyapaul, CEO, CAMSPay. Mr. Sabyasachi Senapati, Business Head, Trillionloans. Mr. Anil K Pinapala, CEO and Founder, Vivifi India Finance. Mr. Pravash Dash, Managing Director and CEO, Arthan Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause for all our panelists.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks for this opportunity with you all today, part of Banking Frontiers, giving NBFCs tomorrow. Digitally, it's fulfilling how much it's trying to address a gap. And our topic is more since it's hyper, where emotional is inbuilt. And if you try to personalize hyper into personalized expectation part of customer, a lot more can be debated. But we precise had a brief discussion in terms of how, especially the NBFCs trying to take part of the customer approach, and why such approach. Where we found enough in terms of the kind of transformation happening from corporate digital towards customer digital, where every individual customer is treated as corporate, and the kind of solution services revolving part of customer as enabling them part of it. And surely you can have a diversified panel where you can see enough information how they do create value system for those customers. And since we have very less time, we will immediately get into the team. From Motilal Oswal Financial Services, how do you see the customer expectations part of CX 2.0?
Sure. So thanks, Suresh. So from Motilal Oswal point of view, we are in a wealth generation business, and all customers join us in end of the day to invest and grow their wealth. Every customer has a very different and unique need. There are people who are just starting their career. They have a very different need, just starting investing.
The data harnessing that Vasanth spoke about. At the end of the day, I think the golden rule that one should follow as an organization is, while the road to relevance to a user could be long enough, you have to work really hard to put the right algorithms and the right segmentation and everything else in place. But I think the one thing that we could all do is not to be irrelevant to the customer. If you could just make little things of customers sharing the data with you with a certain expectation, and today's customer expects. So with the expectation is that I've told you something about myself, at least act on that and do not tell me something that I do not want to know. I mean, we keep sending emails to customers who have never opened an email for the last 1 year, because we love to do that because it's easy, because it can go into a tool. I think those little things go a long way to create a good CX. And then, of course, personalization and hyper-personalization is a long enough journey.
Great, sir.
I'll just add from the risk point of view. Again, the way we are more and more saying that we are reading data, we are understanding customer, we are understanding customers. We are also at a juncture where we have to acknowledge that customer is also understanding how we are operating and how smartly they can fool us. So we have to be very careful and agile with these systems, that this knowledge is two-way. The other way should not fool us around. And they also know our desperations, the rat race which is happening, which, see, when initially we used to source cases, sales used to filter it first. Then credit used to have the ultimate say and say, boss, I'm not comfortable. Now you have everything in a template format where you say, sales guys, please pick up under this playground and dump it on the system. System will decide. Credit guys, please check the tick box operations guys, see if it is as per policy, please pass it through. Now this all system, slowly and slowly, the customer will also learn. We usually face difficulty into those cases where all the documents, everything in processing was perfect, because he knows the system better than us. So we have to be careful when we are talking about personalization. We have to think from this angle as well.
Great, great, sir. 4 minutes left, so you are now reduced to 1 minute.
See, for us, I already talked about how we are a digital-only lending company. And as we expand our business and as we look to improve the customer experience in a country which is so diverse, we are looking at, it's not just enough to be multilingual. We are also a country which is not fully literate. Even digital literacy is not very much high. So what we are now focusing on is to have a form-free customer experience where the customers will be able to talk and fill in a loan application, or where the customers are getting a video onboarded, which will be the way we can kind of truly achieve financial inclusion. Because if you are having long forms which are in English and if they are even in your native language, it will be very difficult for a lot of customers to kind of go through the loan application process. And our focus is to use AI and other tools to, whether it's voice or video, to improve the onboarding process. And that we think is a great way to bring more financial inclusion within the country.
Great, great.
So I think two things I would touch upon very briefly. The first is, you look at again personalization from a core lending product. So where, see, even now, I think there is a over-reliance on standard underwriting parameters, right? You're looking at a bureau score, you're looking at income data, salary slips, etc., right? Whereas there is, there's a lot of other data points around customers that are widely available now, which were not available, let's say, a few years back, right? And how do we smartly use this data to better tweak a loan offer, lending offer to a customer? I think that's part one. Second part of this is even the product that is structured, right? And someone sort of spoke about this earlier, right? You have generally, we have certain, fixed products, right? That this is the ticket size, this is the tenure, and the variance, we only sort of, there's a certain variance within that range, right? But some customer may want a personal loan for, let's say, just 45 days, whereas someone may want it for 6 months or 9 months, right? So how do we, again, in a very granular way, structure the product which meets exactly the requirement of the customer, whatever is the credit requirement and how well the customer can repay, right? Which matches the, let's say, the cash flows of the customer going forward.
Great.
So there, I think we can do more in terms of in terms of personal.
Just to summarize, I think the technology is something that is all there. Every piece of the journey, onboarding to servicing to conclusion, everything can be solved by technology and by digitizing the whole process. But at the end of the day, we are not as an entity, we are not expecting the end customer to consume all of that holistically, right? So we have to make sure all this, things like this, automatic onboarding or, touchless and things like that we are talking about, we have to help more and more of the customer segment to adapt this easily, irrespective of whether they understand digital or not. That's the kind of leading approach we take in our business. Thank you.
Well, as an NBFC, what we offer is the money, so which is a commodity. How you make this commodity into a product? That is by two ways: what and how. What is anyway, most of the people are doing, or most of these are doing, like what is the loan amount, or the tenor, the flexibility, and all these things. So that's the what part. How is very, very critical, because that is what is going to differentiate our organizations, and that is how you build that customer journey or customer experience, so that they will stick to you. These days, the customer acquisition cost is at least 10 times more than, customer retention is 10 times more than the customer acquisition cost. So you definitely want to retain your customers and grow further, and for that you definitely need so it's not a choice, it is a compulsion to create a best user journey or user experience for your product.
Great, great, sir. Thanks, Safral. Time's up. So we are hopefully within the time, sir. We would have taken some seconds more, but we have made it on time. Thanks for your all. Thanks for your all valuable time.
Well, thank you so much for such a wonderful session. Can I please request you to remain on stage for a few more moments? And now to felicitate our wonderful panelists, I would like to invite Mr. Manoj Agarwal once again on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause, please. तालियां बजती रहनी चाहिए. Once again, thank you so much for such a wonderful session.